Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Carrier. I'm the Executive Director of ForHumanity. If you're new to ForHumanity, we are a 501c3 nonprofit public charity. We are a mission-driven organization, and our goal is to examine and analyze downside risk associated with AI, algorithmic, and autonomous systems, and engage in risk mitigations in these tools. Why? Because the more risk we can mitigate from these tools, the greater the benefit for humanity, and that's where the name of the organization comes from. As I mentioned, I'm the executive director. I'm here today with Sean McGregor from the AI Incident Database, and he's going to introduce himself in a minute to tell you about this project that we're working on together. But what we found is that in the management of risks, one of the things that's key in the risk assessment process is to know what kind of incidents and harms can be out in the marketplace. And guess what? That's what Sean's been doing for the past couple of years. So with that, let me hand off to him. He's going to talk to you a little bit about the AI Incident Database and the project that we're putting together. Sean, all you.
Thanks, Ryan. So my name is Sean McGregor. I am a machine learning research engineer, and I founded the AI Incident Database project under the Responsible AI Collaborative. The AI Incident Database, or the AID, is a collection that takes its lead from the Santayana aphorism of those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. We apply that aphorism to our recent history of AI incidents, or roughly speaking, we refer to past harms of AI systems in the real world as being AI incidents. We've amassed a rather large data set of these harms to prevent or at least mitigate the recurrence of past harms, but it is not nearly enough to the scale of the problem. We know that there's a lot more happening out in the world that we need a lot more insight and participation to detect and index so that we can prevent it from happening again in the future. So let me send that back to Ryan a little bit more, and then I'll give you a little bit of tour of what the incident database is and can do and what you can do there.
That's perfect. When I found Sean, it was and the AI Incident Database. It's a match made in heaven. We really do complement each other's work perfectly, and that is in the construct for us of algorithm risk assessments. So this is an element of our independent audit of AI systems process. It exists in every single criteria that we produce. And so when one engages in an algorithm risk assessment, what the human risk assessors have to do when they identify risk inputs or risk indicators is they have to identify potential risks, identify potential harms, identify incidents, and thus how we get to the AI Incident Database. So the more robust that Sean's tool is, the easier the process is for human risk assessors to be trained and to understand what potential risks are in all of these systems. And so the project that we're putting together, what we want to manifest for all of you, accomplishes a series of goals for the contributors and fellows of ForHumanity. Number one, we want to make the AI Incident Database more and more and more robust and beneficial in creating these identifications that we need for risk assessment. Number two, we think this is a great way, based on the social media presence of ForHumanity's community, to track and catalog incidents and harms, potential issues that are out there. Sean's going to talk about how his system is growing and allowing for different ways of identifying risks or potential risks that are out there. And so we want to encourage the ForHumanity community to feed into this process, to basically take the work that it's already doing in all of its jurisdictions around the world to identify these harms and these incidents and these risks and put them into Sean's database. He's going to walk you through and explain how the AI Incident Database tracks and catalogs these incidents and how you can interact with it and how you can have fun doing it, how we can gamify and how we can challenge you to be atop the leaderboard, be atop of these categories and find ways to stand out doing the things you already do in LinkedIn or in Twitter when you're making posts about new and different things that have occurred in the world of risk to humans in AI, algorithmic, and autonomous systems. So let me hand this back over to Sean. He's going to give you a walk through the database, and then I'm just going to wrap up how we're going to operationalize this. Sean.
Thanks, Ryan. So I think many people active in this space have engaged in that pattern of you read a news article about a thing that happened, you share it on Twitter and LinkedIn or with friends and colleagues, and you have that in your head and you can benefit from knowing that risks exist. But really, we should all be bringing it together into one place. And this is where incidentdatabase.ai has collected a rather massive data set and structure on top of that data to give you an idea of how many articles we've collected. I'm going to keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. All right, I'm about 2/3 of the way down now. And each of these have been manually reviewed and very often categorized. Even so, like I do feel this is a large data set. It's not really going to cover the whole world. We are doing things like making it so that everything is programmatically translated into other languages. Right now, we're covering Spanish and French in addition to English, where you can actually switch to those languages and search in those languages in the database. To give you an example in English, I'll search facial recognition here. There are 200 reports spaced across 63 different incident IDs, where we collect these into records that each of them get a number. It serves as a community for that particular incident, where as articles accumulate through time, as reports accumulate through time, we get a better and better understanding of what has happened. And that is, how do these incident reports get into the incident database? Well, you can report incidents in the incident database. So in fact, we really need you to get better geographic, cultural, linguistic coverage for the world, so we can all learn from the mistakes that are happening. You enter the information associated with the incident into this form. This goes into the review queue. Someone makes sure it is in fact an AI incident, and that it should be indexed and brought into the family of applications we're building around it. And then when you do that, when you put your name into the submission form, which you don't have to, you can submit it anonymously. Then you can go into leaderboards, and we actually have several of these. One of them is the originator of an incident, or the first incident report associated with what turns into an incident record. There's also distinct incidents reported. So Gua here has added to many incidents that were already in the database, and that's important because it gives greater perspective on what happened. And there's also the total reports submitted into the incident database as well. And if you have any questions on what an AI incident is, it is linked to by the submission form and like formal definition we're working with right now. We are working with a number of policy organizations to adopt this more formally, so it would be more of a global standard that is consistent in what's being applied. But on top of this whole system, there's also a collection of taxonomies that we're looking to build out that really enrich the data set, so that when you want to know, what incidents have been tagged as having a disparate impact according to race, you can click through and see that and actually understand according to each of the impact properties, and increasingly the technologies that are involved in there as well. So come help build this knowledge base so that you can identify the risks. And this is a very useful thing for your practice of just saying, you have to do X because otherwise this is going to happen. And I'll send that back over to Ryan.
So this new sort of interface between ForHumanity and the AI incident database, we are rolling this out now. The game is on. The game is afoot. So we want the community to engage. Now, what does community engaging mean? First off, when you enter an incident into Sean's incident database, please enter it with your name and then put ForHumanity afterwards. So Ryan Carrier, parentheses, ForHumanity. Number one, we want to show that our community, we're showing the world through Sean's database, right? Through the AI incident database, that ForHumanity is doing this work. What does it take to do this work? Number one, it takes just being aware. There's not any sort of special training that's required. You need to know in your area or in the places where you're searching news and activities and incidents that are going on. You need to be aware of A, what's in the database already, and then B, what you think an incident looks like. And then when you see it, you need to report it. And then Sean's team will go to work to sort of vet it and make sure it fits into the system, make sure it hasn't been covered elsewhere, make sure the information you have maybe is additive to one that's already there. They'll handle that work. Your job, the fun part, the gamification part, is to introduce these new incidents into the system. ForHumanity is going to track the ForHumanity work that happens here. And we're going to celebrate the people in ForHumanity who are doing the most work in these spaces. And oh, by the way, as Sean pointed out, we have 1,100 members from 75 different countries. He only translated into 2 different languages. So guess what? Those of you who are in countries where different languages are happening, you're already ahead of the game. You can already top that leaderboard because you can start by examining things that are happening in your marketplace. And this is hugely important to mitigate risk where you live. The humans in your backyard, you are doing them a service. So look for our announcement and the launch of this. This video is going to obviously go with that. I thank Sean so much for his time. I thank him so much for building the AI incident database and all the work that he's done. And I'm hoping that this will turn into an awesome collaboration and that we're going to grow it over time. And I hope you'll all dive in. This is a great way, easy way, low time commitment way of getting involved in helping to mitigate risk to humans. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Sean, for the work that you do and for coming together with us on this. And we hope you'll have a great time doing it too. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.